besties, if you're new here, my name's Lottie, and if you're a subscriber, welcome back to my channel. You know the drill. Today's video is going to be my monthly TBR jar video. Each month, we pick out some prompts from the TBR jar, and we find a book that fits that prompt to help me build my monthly TBR. So now that we're almost done with April, it is time to pick out my May TBR, so I'm super excited to do that with you guys today. These are some of my favorite videos to film, and I think they're some of your favorite videos to watch. We always have so much fun doing this together, so I'm super happy to be sitting here just talking to you guys about books today. Really quickly, before we dive into building the May TBR, I wanted to quickly reflect on my April TBR. So in the month of April, I picked out 7 books, and as of today, I've finished 2, I've started 2, and then I didn't get to 3. So I have not done a very good job. I'm hoping to finish at least 3. I try my best not to put too much pressure on myself to finish every single book on my monthly TBR, and more so just use it as a fun way to kind of guide my reading for the month. But inevitably, I end up putting pressure on myself. One of my book goals this year is to finish a monthly TBR at least once, which you'd think wouldn't be that hard, but I still haven't been able to do it yet. So maybe May will be the month. And so with all that being said, I do think I'm going to go down to 6 books this month. Sometimes I want to pick a bigger TBR and just like mood read from within that. But right now I'm focused on like getting a TBR together that I feel like I can actually finish. And honestly, I felt so good about my April TBR. I was really excited about every single book on that list, but the new release mania just hit me. I was so overwhelmed with all of the new exciting books coming out. Plus, I've just been super busy and have had a hard time carving out time to sit down and get through some of my TBR. So just wanted to make that tweak to make it hopefully a little more achievable this month. And another thing I've started doing for my monthly TBR videos is just creating this little graphic. I'll put it on the screen, but I've got this image sitting in front of me to remind me of all of my e-reads that I have available this month. Oftentimes when I was picking TBR prompts without having this graphic in front of me, I would totally forget all of my Kindle Unlimited, NetGalley, new release kind of books that were coming out and would just pick from the cart, which there's of course nothing wrong with that. I need to read my physical TBR, but in order to make the TBR even more achievable, I feel like it's most realistic for me to have at least a couple of ebooks on my TBR as well. So this graphic sits here at the foot of my tripod throughout the video to help me remember what books are on my radar for the month. Let's quickly go through the ones that stood out to me on the graphic. We've got 4 sections. The first section is new releases. So these are a couple books coming out in May that I'm really excited about and wanted to flag for you guys. We've got My Friends by Frederick Bachman. I think this is May 6th. If I'm being FFR, I'm probably not going to read this month because I really want to get through the Beartown trilogy before reading more from Frederick Bachman. I kind of want to finish that before moving on to some of his other work, but I'm excited to see early reviews and see what everyone who is reading it thinks about it. Another new release coming out this month that I'm excited to hear about is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. Again, if I'm being honest, I'm not going to read this month. I'm probably not going to pick it, but I wanted to let you guys know that it's coming out. So many of you guys love The One Dark Window duology by Rachel Gillig, and that is super high on my TBR right now. So I would love to get to that soon, but I kind of want to read that before going to The Night and the Moth. I know that you don't have to. And then the third book in this new release section is Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. This is, I think, like a companion novel, kind of a follow-up to Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. I don't know that you have to read Not in Love first. I'm sure they're just kind of interconnected standalones, but this is an age gaps. I think it's like a summer in Italy or something. I'm not ruling out that I'll read this summer, but it also is not one that I'm necessarily going to go like run and pick up on release day. I actually really enjoyed Not in Love, and then I didn't really love Deep End. I just thought it was okay. So I definitely could see myself reading this at some point, but it comes out towards the end of the month, I think like May 27th. So probably won't get to it in May, but wanted to flag it because it is an exciting new release. Okay, next let's talk about my NetGalley section because 2 of these books are 2 of the ones I'm most excited for that are also new releases this May. NetGalley are e-books that I have early access to as someone who reads and reviews books online. So the publisher has sent me a free ebook version that I could read in advance of the release of these books here. So we've got The Love Haters by Catherine Center. I think this is like May 20th. I'll put it on the screen. I can't quite remember, but it comes out in May. I really loved The Bodyguard by Catherine Center, and then I didn't love The Rom-Commers last summer. Again, it wasn't a bad book. It was like 3 stars, 3.5. It was just okay to me. I guess I was just a little bit disappointed because I loved The Bodyguard so much. So I'm really curious to see what I'll think of The Love Haters, if it feels like a trend that I'm not loving Catherine Center's writing as much anymore, or if it was just a one-off with The Rom-Commers last summer. I feel like a lot of Catherine Center's latest work, like The Bodyguard, The Rom-Commers, now The Love Haters, all kind of have this like one of them is famous kind of trope. It's like a lot about like production, Hollywood, either an actor, a star, a producer, a writer, things like that. And this one is similar in that way. I think it's a little bit of like an enemies to lovers. It seems fun. I don't know. Definitely something that I would like to read like by the pool this summer at some point. So I've got that one on NetGalley. Would love to get to that this month before it actually comes out. And then another one I am so excited for, one of my most anticipated releases of the year. It's A Love Story by Annabelle Monaghan. Honestly, I just have like such high hopes for this one that I've been putting it off. I have had it on my NetGalley for a few weeks now, but I wanted to read it a little bit closer to the release date. I think it's more fun if I read it like a week or two before it comes out, and I can share my thoughts like right as it's coming out with you guys, so you don't have to like wait forever for it to come out, you know? But this one is another kind of like complicated rom-com plot that I don't feel like I need to sit here and explain. We'll figure it out when we get to it. I love Annabelle Monaghan's writing, so I'm hoping this is going to be a slam dunk. It comes out, I think, May 27th, same day as Ali Hazelwood. And then the last one I have on NetGalley actually is already out, but I'm still able to read and review it on there, so I would love to get to it before it expires so that I can help my ratio, and that's Passion Project by London Sperry. Also, NetGalley ratio is basically, it's like how many books you're granted versus how many you've submitted reviews for and actually read. So if you actually read and review the books that you're given, that ups your ratio and helps you get access to more books. But I've been hearing a lot of great things about Passion Project. This one came out, I think, at the beginning of April, and it seems like it has a kind of similar plot to Promise Me Sunshine by Kara Stone, which I really loved. And so it could be like close enough that I really love it, or too close to where maybe it feels too similar. I'm not sure, but this is a debut author, and I definitely want to do my part to support some debut novels this year. So would love to get to this one soon too. Okay, those are all of the new releases. Really quickly, I'm just going to briefly mention a few other ebooks that I have my eye on. So on my Kobo, I started reading Half a Soul. I'm like 10 or 20% in, but I haven't finished it, and I kind of softy NF'd it. I'm really enjoying it. I didn't softy NF it for any reason other than like I wanted to film a video reading on my Kobo, and it's like part of that. And so it's nothing against the book, and I'm definitely going to come back to it and actually finish that one. So that one's on my list. Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. I loved Out on a Limb. Would love to read this one soon. And it feels like kind of summery, you know, it's like a summer camp kind of vibe, I think. And then The Collected Regrets of Clover. This was a Kobo daily deal the other day, so I just snagged it. It was like $2 on Kobo. And I've heard really great things about this one. I literally can't remember anything about it other than I think it deals with grief. And then on Kindle Unlimited, a few from last month's TBR that I didn't get to, the next in the Beartown series, the next in the Skyland series, and then I would love to start a new romantasy or fantasy series. So Spark of the Everflame is one that I have my eye on. Okay, you're probably like, Lottie, can we please pick the first effing prompt? But we actually have a little bit more housekeeping to do before we jump in. I wanted to share that my new friend Danielle from Simon & Schuster actually reached out, and she offered to send me a few of Simon & Schuster's new fiction releases that they're really excited about this spring. This video is not sponsored by Simon Books or anything like that. They just sent over a couple of their new fiction releases, and you guys know I have been loving Litfic this year. These are some books that I had my eye on, and I'm so excited to add them to my TBR cart, so I thought I would quickly do a little book haul and we would add them to the cart together, and then we'll jump into the prompts. First up, we've got The Bright Years by Sarah DeMoff. I am super pumped to have this on my TBR cart. If you saw last month's video, you know that this was on my new release radar, and I just have a feeling this is going to be a book that I really connect with. This is actually also a debut novel. I think it's great to support debut authors and just try new writing styles. Plus, I'm obsessed with the cover. You guys know one of my ins for 2025 was oil painting covers, and this is fabulous. Like, this is beautiful in my opinion. Okay, the second book that Simon Books sent over is Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall. It sounds like this one is a page turner. It's a little mysterious. This one's also a Reese's book club pick. Okay, this one has a lot of layers. It's kind of hard to describe in like a quick sentence, but I feel like the end of the kind of book description does a good job. It says, a sweeping love story with the pace and twists of a thriller. Broken Country is a novel of simmering passion, impossible choices, and explosive consequences that toggles between the past and the present to explore the far-reaching legacy of first love. Honestly, this one sounds so good too. I've been looking for some more like fast-paced mystery type books that aren't like too scary psychological thrillers, and this one sounds more like a mystery, fast-paced, lots of tension, but not like too scary. So, and last but not least from Simon Books, they sent over Heartwood by Amity Gage. This one's a read with Jenna pick, and the quick blurb for this one says, a search and rescue team races against time when an experienced hiker mysteriously disappears in this gripping and suspenseful new novel. So once again, this seems like a great, like more fast-paced pick if you're needing something to binge. It's actually set in Maine, and it follows 42-year-old Valerie Gillis, who has vanished on the Appalachian Trail. Alone in the wilderness, Valerie pours her thoughts into fractured poetic letters to her mother as she battles the elements and struggles to keep hope alive. This sounds intense. At the center of the investigation into Valerie's disappearance is Beverly, the determined Maine state game warden leading the search on the ground. Meanwhile, Lena, a 76-year-old bird watcher in Connecticut, becomes an unexpected armchair detective. As the story alternates among these compelling and vivid voices, a puzzle emerges. This kind of reminds me of like God of the Woods a little bit. Oh, it seems like Valerie's disappearance may not have been accidental. It's an ode to mothers and daughters and the solace of nature. Could be a good one for Mother's Day. It inspires larger questions about the many ways in which we become lost and how we are found. Sounds great to me, and I feel so spoiled. So thank you once again to Simon Books for sending those over. I'm so excited to have them on the TBR cart, and hopefully we can get at least one of them on the monthly TBR. And thank you again to you guys for supporting me, supporting my channel, and these TBR videos are so much fun. Okay, I know that was a lot of housekeeping, but you know me, I like to sit here and yap. So we need to find a spot for these books. As you can see, the cart is very full. I could see myself reading any of these. They all sound so great. I'm thinking I may take off The Will of the Many and Lovely War. Both of these just kind of feel like wintry reads to me, and I don't necessarily see myself getting to them. Don't worry, they will be back on the cart very soon. I just think, I don't know, I'm just not in the mood. They're gonna get the boot. Okay, we have our replacements. We've got Heartwood, Broken Country, and The Bright Years on the cart. I'm just giddy. It's gonna be a tight competition to see who gets put on here, because we also have the new Emily Henry book. We've got the new Jessa Hastings book. We've got Fearless by Lauren Roberts. I'm just overwhelmed with options. I also promised Anders I would read The Lord of the Rings soon, so I've got The Hobbit on here. There's a lot going on, but that's a good problem to have, so let's do it. Like I said, we're gonna do 6 prompts this time. I know a smaller TBR, but I think it's gonna pack a punch, so. Okay, let's pick out the first prompt. A book with magic. Let's see. I feel like Our Infinite Faith, I feel like it kind of does. It's more like a story of constant reincarnation and like fate. Oh, guys, we've got Fearless. It's just a really fun YA romantasy trilogy. This is the 3rd and final book in the official trilogy. I think there's going to be some more novellas that are part of the series, but this is the kind of final installment. But in terms of a book with magic, I do feel like this is a top contender. I want to get to this soon, especially before I get spoiled. Okay, I think Never has magic in it, but I want to read Peter Pan before I read this, so I'm kind of on hold with that. I think The Hobbit kind of has magic. I don't really know. The Assassin's Blade, question mark. I don't know. Someone let me know about that one. The Cruel Prince probably has magic. Honestly, guys, I'm just like, I don't even really care to go through the rest because I want to read Fearless. Okay, let's pick out prompt number 2. Oh gosh, do you see this? I have like 4 attached. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna go with this one. Okay, this one says a book with the color red on the cover. Looking at my little graphic that I made, I could pick The Love Haters because the main male character has a red swimsuit on, and I'm pretty sure The Love Haters is written in like a red, so that's definitely an option. Let's see what else we have to choose from the TBR cart. Tell Me Lies by Carola Lovering definitely has red on the cover. I want to do a video though with this one. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder definitely has red on the cover, but once again, I want to do a vlog reading and then watching the TV show for this one. Legendary by Stephanie Garber. This is the 2nd book in the Caraval trilogy. You with the View has red on the cover, but it's not like a red cover. I feel like all signs are pointing to an Ember in the Ashes for this one. But I feel like if I'm being practical, I should pick The Love Haters. But honestly, I kind of want to pick an Ember in the Ashes just because I do think it's going to be a romance heavy month and it'll be nice to have more of a I don't know though, because I just picked Fearless, which is more fantasy, and this is more fantasy. Okay, what do I do? This is one of the books on my TBR cart though right now that I feel like has the highest 5-star potential, and I don't necessarily feel that way about The Love Haters. I also want to read Great Big Beautiful Life, but like, are we counting that as red? I don't think so. I think I'm gonna go with an Ember in the Ashes. I kind of need a reason to like motivate me to start this series because I really think I'm gonna love it, and I think it'd be fun to put it on the TBR. And I want to get more comfortable with like a fantasy book being a little more of like a palate cleanser or something that's not so intimidating. So I think having more of them on my TBR will help me feel like I have more to choose from and should just hopefully make it a little more fun. So let's put an Ember in the Ashes on the TBR. Okay, let's pick out prompt number 3. Okay, come on guys. Let's pick prompt number 3 for my May TBR. Okay, this one says Enemies to Lovers book. Would Great Big Beautiful Life work for that? I think they're more so rivals, but can we count it? Are you guys gonna get mad at me? I really want to read this soon. I mean, the whole plot is that they are competing to tell Margaret Ives' story. If you're unfamiliar, these 2 writers are competing to tell the story of this tragic heiress, former tabloid princess and daughter of one of the most storied families of the 20th century, Margaret Ives. So Margaret invites them both for a 1-month trial period, and Alice and Hayden are going to kind of compete, and Margaret will ultimately choose one of them to tell her story. So it may not be enemies in the sense of like, you know, witch and witch hunter, but I think it counts, right? Like they're competing. I'm gonna count it. It's my video, okay? I just need the new Emily Henry release on my May TBR, and so I think we're gonna count it. I feel like this just has to go on there, right? Like I need it on there for my mental health. So we're honestly running out of prompts, but this is prompt number 4, a Reese's book club pick. We're gonna go with Broken Country for my Reese's book club pick. I'm so excited to have another new release on the TBR, and this one looks so cool. Kind of reminds me of The Unmaking of June Farrow, and I think it'll be nice to have more of like a fast-paced book on the TBR this month. So I can't wait to read this one and tell you guys what I think. Oh, and Broken Country is her US debut. She has published 2 thrillers in the UK and Germany. This is her US debut, which is really cool. So I'm excited. Okay, we only have 2 more prompts to go. So let's pick out prompt number 5. A book with a pretty cover. Okay, you guys know what I want to pick, I think, or I don't know. I think you could take a good guess because there's one book that I would really like to put on my May TBR, and that would be the book The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. Emmy Lawless is a really talented artist who does all of the book covers for Jessa Hastings. Jessa and Emmy are, I think, like childhood friends, which is so cool. As you guys know, I love an oil painting and I'm just obsessed with this cover. It's just, I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. This is definitely the book on my TBR that I'm most drawn to visually right now. I'd say the other book that I think has the prettiest cover is The Bright Years. I know I showed this earlier, but I just love this cover right now too. I am drawn to like these softer rainbow palettes, as you guys can tell, with like these oil painting, like these big brush strokes. But if we're going for a book with a pretty cover, this is just a no-brainer for me. This is Jessa's new book that came out in April, and it's a standalone. I think it's kind of a blend between lit fic and romance. There are only so many cracks a damaged family can take before it shatters. So definitely intrigued by this one. I think it's an absolutely gorgeous cover, and I'm so excited to have it on my TBR this month. Guys, we are stacked this month. I've got an incredible lineup that I'm really excited about. So let's pick the 6th and final for my May TBR. This one says, a book written by an author you love. Twist my arm. Let me add a book from an author I love. I think I need to pick one from NetGalley, one of my arcs. Of course, as you guys know, I absolutely love Annabelle Monaghan. So I feel like this is the perfect reason to put It's a Love Story on my May TBR. This book comes out at the very end of May. I think that's the perfect 6th and final, especially since I don't have any other e-reads on the TBR so far this month. I think it just works out great. Those are the 6 books on my May TBR. We've done it, guys. I'm going to tidy up the TBR cart and we will do a quick recap of the 6 books I hope to read in May. The first prompt I pulled was a book with magic. So for that, I chose Fearless by Lauren Roberts, the 3rd and final in the Powerless trilogy. The second prompt I pulled was a book with the color red on the cover. So for this one, I chose An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. This is a YA fantasy series that I've heard nothing but good things about, and I'm really excited to hopefully get into it this month. The next prompt I pulled was an Enemies to Lovers book. So we bent the rules just a little and went with a rivals to lovers trope instead. And that is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I'm just dying to get to the new M. Hen release this month, so had to find a way to wiggle it on the May TBR, and I feel like this counts. The next prompt I pulled was a Reese's book club pick. So for this one, I went with Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall. This one will add a little bit of like mystery suspense to the TBR, which I think is definitely needed. And I'm really excited to try a new author. The 5th prompt I pulled was a book with a pretty cover. So for that, I went ahead and selected The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. I'm just obsessed with Emmy Lawless's covers that she does for Jessa. I think that they're just absolutely gorgeous. And the 6th and final prompt that I pulled was a book written by an author you love. So for this one, I chose It's a Love Story by Annabelle Monaghan. I have the e-arc of this one on NetGalley, so I'm really hopeful to read this one before it comes out at the end of the month so I can let you guys know what I thought about it. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for my TBR jar picks my monthly reads video. I am super excited about my May TBR. I think I have a great lineup that I seriously cannot wait to get into. Let me know what's on your May TBR in the comments down below. And if you made it this far in the video, comment down below with the strawberry emoji so I can know who made it to the end. In case you missed it, my last video was the bookish favorites tag, where I just sit and yap about a lot of my favorite books, series, some of my favorite bookish merch, bookish creators, literally just all things books. So if you missed that one, definitely check it out. It was a really fun one. I am sending all of you the best vibes for an amazing month of reading this May, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, everyone.